Emergency podcast territory. The Marlins have not done any business. The deal has not been done. But one of the key targets, Bryan Reynolds of the Pirates, center fielder of the future for the Miami Marlins, potentially has requested a trade. That's the first step to perhaps the Marlins finally swinging a deal with the Pirates. We're going to dig into all of the news and reaction that Bryan Reynolds wants out of Pittsburgh. And can the Miami Marlins capitalize on that on today's show?
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings from England and welcome to Locked On Marlins. This is your daily Marlins podcast. And yes, this is the second episode of the day. Even on Saturday, 2 episodes. That's my dedication to you and this show. News dropping, and it doesn't specifically relate to the Miami Marlins, but it clearly does. The news drops that Bryan Reynolds has requested a trade. I'm going to dig into that. Reminder, I'm your host, Peter Pratt. Hit me up on Twitter. And listen, Twitter is absolutely on fire right now. There is tons happening. Get yourselves on there. Follow me at Miami Marlins _UK if you are listening to the pod. Firstly, thank you. Second of all, hit subscribe. Make sure you get every episode straight to that device. And thanks for making Locked On Marlins, hopefully, your second listen of the day. There was already one earlier. This is the second episode of the day. This is not how it's supposed to be done. It's supposed to be Monday to Friday, 5 episodes a week. Going a bit off schedule, but it's necessary. There is news happening, and it's tons to follow, and it's just a lot of fun. Why not? Hit the pods. I am here. I'm feeling very festive, very Christmassy. I've been drinking mulled wine all day. There are now baubles on the tree. Do you remember the episode earlier? It was sunny. No baubles, no lights, no nothing. Tree was up. That has been rectified. Mulled wine. For the US listeners, let me know this after. Do you know what mulled wine is? I assume you do. But I'm also thinking, I wonder if this is like a UK thing or a European thing. Mulled wine. It is warm wine, effectively, with some cinnamon and some orange in there. It is nice. It is festive. It is great for those winter evenings. I've been sipping on it all day. It's just a tradition here. When the decorations go up, the mulled wine, first of the year, is opened. Anyway, enough of that. There is a YouTube channel if you're watching. Hello, and you will see I am still in my Christmas attire for the family shoot. Nevertheless, hit subscribe there too if indeed you like YouTube. Guys, why have I fired up this episode at 8:30 on a Saturday? I fired it up because Bryan Reynolds has come out there. Well, indirectly, Bryan Reynolds is out there saying that he wants out of Pittsburgh. And at the time when the news started to break around about an hour ago, what was the rationale? What's happened? What's changed for Bryan Reynolds to want to get out of Pittsburgh? He has another 3 years, perhaps, in Pittsburgh. The Pirates saying, no, we want to keep Reynolds. We are looking to build around him and contend. At this point, Reynolds, though, requesting a trade. It seems like the follow-on news, seemingly, is that the Pirates offered Reynolds an extension, another extension. Reminder, they did a 2-year deal, buying out the first 2 years of ARB. He then has 2 more years of ARB after the contract extension runs through 23. The Pirates, by all accounts, offered him a deal. It's probably fair to say that Bryan Reynolds didn't like the offer, felt it was below market value. Perhaps he felt, what's the right word? He felt, it was a low ball. He'd been low balled. And maybe thinking this maybe isn't the organization for me. So, if that is what's happened, Pirates look to extend Reynolds. They basically lowball him and make him a derisory offer, whatever the right word is. I can't think of the right word. Too much mulled wine. Anyway, below market, Reynolds then says, no, not having that. And to further compound things, I'm going to request a trade. What does that actually mean? I'm not sure what it means in the grand scheme. Let's remember back, though, Christian Yelich, back when the rebuild was kicking off, he was requesting trades. And actually, kind of similar players in a similar amount of control remaining. and he engineered his way out of Miami. Is Reynolds going to look to do the same and engineer his way out? At the end of the day, the Pirates, they have the control. They can do what they want. And so, first off, is this just contract negotiations being played out? And thus, the news that he requests a trade, it's just a smokescreen. Is that what's going on? Where actually this is just a negotiation tactic. Let's remember, almost a year to the day, the lockout started. So happy anniversary to the lockout. But you remember all this smokescreen stuff of this and these offers and whatever. It was all just a nonsense, and it was all trending to this way. And maybe with Reynolds and the Pirates, things are okay, and this is just part of the negotiation. You could look at it that way. However, on the other side of things here, maybe Reynolds has said, listen, there's a breakdown here. Not happy. Something needs to change. I need out of this organization. We are not good for each other. You need to trade me because you've now got an unhappy player on your books. It's time to maybe look to make that move. If that is indeed the case, then boy, oh boy, there are a ton of suitors, and no bigger suitor than the Miami Marlins. There isn't. The Marlins have had this need now since they traded Starling Marte. They have spoken to Pirates historically. They haven't been able to swing a deal. The price tag, too high. Too high. What were they asking for? They're asking for everyone. Everyone. The Marlins, rightly, in some ways, decided not to meet that price tag. But as I spoke about on the episode 2 episodes ago, when thinking about where we're up to with Reynolds and Mullins now, the service time and the control is ticking away. The production, Reynolds actually was fine offensively. Mullins did step back, and we talked about that on that show. The problem for Reynolds was defensively, seemingly. He really stepped back in the terms of the numbers. The funny thing is you go onto Twitter and you just search, Bryan Reynolds defense and just see what you see. And in the main, overall, all I see is Reynolds hosed him. What defense from the Pirates? Reynolds is a stud. The stud defense. So, okay, this is scattered across multiple years of tweets, but the overarching view that Twitter gives me, if you can believe Twitter, and listen, I've not really had many eyeballs on in terms of Reynolds in center field. So you need maybe the eyeball test on this one, but something happened in 22. Seemingly the numbers have gone backwards. But prior to that, in 21, into 20, and 19 in particular as well, when he kind of burst onto the scene, no one had any concerns about the defense. And actually, they were praising the defense because you're effectively getting corner outfield production from the center field spot. And that is the golden ticket, my friends. Speaking of golden tickets, let's let you know about our good friends over at BetOnline. And betonline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. I wonder if they have the Bryan Reynolds market available. They should do. And if it was me, the Marlins would be in the top one for favorites. Anyway, you can get the latest odds and trends for every professional amateur league out there. From football to basketball to soccer and esports, they've got it all at betonline.net. It's the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. You can head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, of course, where the game starts. Okay, and so if Reynolds is truly available, who is going to be in the hunt? And there's a few candidates clearly, right? And some of it links to free agency. Aaron Judge, where's he going to land? Brandon Nimmo, where's he going to land? That's two of the names. Are the Mets and the Yankees, respectively, are they going to try and re-sign their guys? Are they going to? And actually, for those clubs, it would make sense to re-sign them. They have the financial resources to go and sign Judge and Nimmo, respectively. They do. Why empty the farm fully to go and sign Bryan Reynolds? Why? It's a good question. I don't know the answer. For the Marlins, they're not going to sign Judge, and they're not going to sign Brandon Nimmo. Acquiring effectively all-star center fielders is tough, but there is one available. There is an all-star center fielder available via trade with multiple years of control. Fits the Marlins brief perfectly. It's a stunning fit. It was a stunning fit back in 21. Price tag too high. Where's the price at now? It's coming down. It has to be. Logically, it's coming down. Why is it coming down? 1 year less of control. Also, the guy wants out. The guy wants out of there because the Pirates don't want to pay him The relationship is breaking down. All of a sudden, you have a deteriorating asset in some ways. Can the Marlins buy low on Bryan Reynolds? But the problem is so many other clubs will be thinking the same. Effectively, everyone should be considering Bryan Reynolds. Even if you have a center fielder, doesn't matter. Play him in left, play him in right. Who cares? You should be able to find a spot for Bryan Reynolds, because when you look at his offensive production, I don't care about the defense. Yes, it's not been amazing. It was fine actually in 2021. But when you look at what he's been delivering, I guess every year, every full year. I mean, the 2020 year wasn't great, but in 2019, when he burst on the scene, a WRC plus of 130. 130. Yes, it wasn't good in 2020. But in 2021, an absolutely stunning season, WRC plus of 141. Last year, down year for Reynolds. Down year with a WRC plus of 125. It is wild. The dude is a legit major league hitter. Doesn't matter what position. And frankly, for the Marlins and the offense, it shouldn't matter. Even if they go and acquire Reynolds and they think, hey, our philosophy is we want a real solid defense at center field. Christina Di Nicola was kind of talking around this on a tweet that she put out there. Play him in left. Play him in right. It doesn't matter. Jorge Soler should not block Bryan Reynolds. He shouldn't be. Avi Garcia, frankly, shouldn't be blocking Bryan Reynolds. So the Marlins could easily find a spot. But the offense and the offensive production and consistency is elite. It is. So it is a no-brainer for the Marlins to look to make a deal here with the Pirates. The question is, and this is the question on everyone's lips, and just quickly, I'm going to take a sip of this mulled wine as I'm getting some dry mouth here. Stunning. Question on everyone's lips. What is the price tag? What's the price tag for Bryan Reynolds? What the Marlins going to have to pay up? Well, the reality is the ask, I think, historically was Eury Perez plus multiple other prospects. Too much. Hence why they haven't made a deal. The Pirates maybe don't want to sell. Naturally, they've got a high ask. Naturally. For the Marlins now, Eury Perez, in my opinion, remains untouchable. He remains untouchable for anyone out there. The Marlins just aren't trading him. And in many ways, I respect that. They should do. They should keep on. If they see generational pitching talents, then keep them. Don't go chasing the dream on hopefully Bryan Reynolds being the one piece that pushes you over the top. The Marlins need more pieces. So this is the other thing to consider. Yes, Bryan Reynolds, but no, it is not the end game. Still, it requires upgrades, at least one more, if not two more upgrades offensively. It also requires 2 or 3 upgrades in the bullpen and for everyone to stay healthy. It's a tall ask. It really is. But the Marlins, if they truly believe that Eury Perez is the second coming of, Sandy Alcantara, let's say, they should absolutely keep hold of him. But as the years of control start to tick away on Reynolds, the price tag will start to come down. And the other thing I was thinking about is, well, there's 2 things. If the Pirates and Reynolds and their relationship breaks down, like, where are the Pirates going to turn to? And what are they going to try and do? Because if Reynolds is saying, hey, I want out of here for whatever reason, maybe out of spite, the Pirates just say, hey, well, I'm not sending him to a glamour city of New York or San Francisco or Los Angeles or Atlanta. No, we're sending him to go and die in Miami, which is unfair in many ways and is pretty disturbing to hear from as a Marlins fan. But the reality is, sending him to go and play for the Marlins could be seen as a punishment. It could be in some people's eyes. I don't think it truly is. And for certain, as we've said for many, many, many years now, if you build it, and that what I mean by that is a winner, not just any old team, but if you build a winner, the fans will come. They will. It has to work that way around. They will only come when the team is winning consistently and they are fun. Reynolds, he gives the team a chance to be more fun and win more consistently. Sounds like a plan to me. So, where does this eventually all play out? In my humble opinion, sitting here on Saturday, the 3rd of December, Reynolds is a perfect fit for the Marlins. We know it. They have the ammo to do it. I think it would be. I've said it multiple times already. A lefty pitcher, maybe two of them. Plus, then you throw in. I want to say throw in. It's the wrong language, but you start to think about guys that are maybe further away right now from a Marlins perspective, and may actually work well with the Pirates timeline. I don't know. What I mean by that is Khalil Watson, the toolsy guy in the Marlins system. Where do they see that? JJ Bleday. Yes, he's had some opportunity, but if you go and sign Reynolds now, a trade for Reynolds, sorry, plus you've got Abby for multiple years, you're liking what you're seeing from De La Cruz, is Bleday going to be blocked now for some time anyway? Do the Pirates effectively look to kind of get younger there, push their window backwards? I don't know. I don't really know how this is all going to play out, or if this is even indeed realistic. Here's what we know. Reynolds requested a trade. Why? The Pirates tried to extend him, and they lowballed him. And he said, well, stuff you guys. I want out of here. The Pirates are then saying, we still want to keep Bryan. We still see him a big part of this team, and we're trying to win now. Who knows how this actually plays out, but clearly Kim will be picking up the phone. The winter meetings are starting tomorrow. So, perfect timing for this, perfect timing for Kim. Is it all a smokescreen? The other thing, is this a way to save face for the Pirates, where they leak this story out there? They leak it out. Reynolds has requested a trade, all because the Pirates are trying to save face and not have to go back to some of the clubs and say, actually, we're happy. We're open to negotiations now. We're happy to take that lower offer that you put forward to us historically. Where maybe previously they were holding on in hope of securing that absolute haul of a deal. Now maybe things are changing for them. They put out this spin story. Reynolds wants a trade, and that's a way for them to go back, save face, go, listen, we've got a problem here. Reynolds wants out. We're happy to accept that deal that you gave us. Let's make it happen. To be honest with you, all prospects from a Marlins perspective should be on the table here, apart from Uri Perez. Everyone else should be available. The Marlins should look to do it. There's no reason not to. He's an upgrade. And I don't care about the defense. I don't. The defense was fine in 21. In 22, by the numbers, it didn't look good. It looked, not very good at all. I'll go on to Twitter, search, Pirates Twitter for Reynolds tweets regarding the defense. Yeah, there's one or two clips where there's like some drop fly balls. Okay, not amazing. But there's other ones where everyone's praising his defense, hosing guys down, nailing them, everything, you name it. So I think it's been a bit of a mixed bag there on Reynolds. But I would say we need some more eye test on the defense and the glove. But I really actually don't care, because the Marlins last year went into the year with Jesus Sanchez as the starting center fielder. Bryan Reynolds, and I haven't looked at the numbers in the comparison, but I don't have to. Bryan Reynolds is an upgrade over Jesus Sanchez defensively and offensively. The Marlins should not hesitate in pulling the trigger on this deal. Yes, they shouldn't overpay and try not to overpay. And that's what that's Kim's job. That's her domain. And in trade negotiations, I fully trust Kim. If the Marlins do get a deal with the Pirates for Reynolds, it will look like a good deal for the Marlins. I'm confident of that, because I'm confident in Kim executing on these trades. With that being said, guys, I better get back to the family shenanigans here. I hope you've enjoyed the emergency pod in the Christmas pajamas. Christmas is coming. Bryan Reynolds, he is on the wish list, no doubt, for all Marlins fans. We'll wait and see what happens. But I'll be back on Monday with another episode, unless more news drops. And then, of course, more emergency pods will follow. Until then, see you Monday.